Hi guys and welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the Odepro WD41. We're gonna make a little bit of an unboxing. We're gonna take a look at the light itself, at what features it offers us, the battery, the charger, and what kind of modes it offers us, some recommendations of course about the actual light. After that we'll jump into the water to take a look and see how the light actually performs underwater in the diving environment where we're gonna be using it, as well as a little bit of a pros and cons afterwards. So let's get the video started. As you can see, it comes in a very nice and small package. Well, it's a cartoon package, it's nothing special, but well, important is the light that is inside. Here you can already see the light, how it's gonna look, and let's take a quick look at the actual specs we have already here. We have a runtime of 2 hours on high. High in this case is 1050 lumens, so let's say 1000 lumens, which is the maximum output also of the Cree XML2, which they're using, the U4. We have an 18650 battery, and we have a waterproof rating up to 200 meters. So this is quite a high one, and the reason why it's very simple, because the light itself is produced or made in a very rugged or very sturdy way, so it's quite waterproof. There is no switches, nothing. It has a 3 O-ring seal, and it's made to withstand a lot of pressure. That's the way at least it looks like. In the package you can already see the actual light. It comes out of course as the first thing, and let's take a look at it. The light is quite small, fits almost in my hand, so this is just for you for some reference. Nice and small, 18650 powered. The actual head is a bit wider, but it has a nice spot output, so it's quite a spotty light. I like it a lot, and it has a simple mechanic turning switch, so it's quite a simple one, and this makes the light as simple as possible. There are no other holes, no other switches going through, so this is just on or off, on, very simple, very easy, nowhere there can get water in, so this is quite a good thing. In the package as well, this light, as you can see here, I bought it on Amazon, so this is the best way on actually getting the Odepro lights, no matter if you're in the US or in Europe. Most Amazons are offering the Odepro lights, and there you're mostly always gonna get a 2 battery pack, which is a nice thing. In this case we have an 18650, which is a 3000 milliamp hours cell. It is a protected one, so we have a nice and small protection circuit here in the back. And important, I'm going to tell you right away, the light does not have a protection circuitry inside, so you need to have a protected lithium ion cell, or at least I would recommend it to you, to not over discharge your batteries. So here, 2 of these, very nicely packaged. You have a lot of information on, of course we're not going to read it, but it's a nice and simple 18650. We have of course also a charger to get these charged. I got this one actually with an adapter, so this is actually US version, but of course with a simple adapter, and the EU, Germany, UK, wherever you are, you will get the proper cable, so you're gonna get the proper charger to wherever you are using it and buying it mainly. We have a dual slot charger, and we have an indicator for the charging with a green and a red LED. Of course, red is charging, green is finished charge. I'm not going to show you this. The only thing I want to show you is the actual output, which is 4.2 volts. Of course, a full lithium ion cell at 1 amp times 2. This means we have a 2 amp output, 1 amp on each slot. Also in the package we have, and this is something most lights don't come included, you can buy it as an extra for quite expensive money actually. It's a so-called soft Goodman handle. This handle is quite helpful, mainly if you're doing longer dives and you don't want to have the actual light in your hand. It's a bit tricky to get it on the first time, but once you did it once, it's actually quite simple. In this case, all I'm gonna do is pass my thumb through the actual glove in this case, or handle. You pass the actual strap through this part, and then you have actually a double secure system. This means you have to close it twice. First of all, you have a Velcro. Once I finally got it in, you have a Velcro which closes it once, and then you have another, now it's already closed, and then you have another one which goes through here just for security to close it again, and you could even re-tighten, but it's already quite tight. And on the top we have a nice, it's almost a neoprene part. It's a very nice and very flexible thing where we will put the light in, and this light is actually nicely designed for this because it's very thick in the front and it's also quite thick in the back, so this will hold the light perfectly. Putting the light in like this, you can already see, it's maybe a bit difficult to get it in, but that's the idea of the light being kind of fixed and you're not losing the light. So that's the advantage of having it nice and, well, we could say with less or almost no slack. So this is the way it looks, and you have a hand you can use, so that's a quite nice thing. You're always shining the light wherever you're pointing your hand and it won't go out. Don't worry, you won't lose the light like this. Yeah? The only thing it's going to be funny is to switch the light. It's going to be a bit difficult because it's going to be turning away, so to turn it off or on during the dive only with one hand is going to be a bit of a challenge. So this is just for you to know from the beginning on. Good, so much about the actual handle. To take it off, it's quite simple. Let's take the light out. So it's a nice thing which is included for those who want to use it, definitely nice. And you could theoretically also use it on other lights with a similar size. Just be aware, on this one it works very well because it's simply quite thick on the back. If the lights are not so thick on the back, it might go out, just for you to know or to be aware of that. Inside the package we have two more things. The usual spare O-rings, very nice thing to have, of course. If they get used after a while, you have the exact size you need for the light, so that's always a nice thing. And we have a small user manual. As I told you, 1050 lumens, and of course some informations which I guess no one of you is gonna read probably. I recommend you, for those who are buying a light for the first time, go over them and just read some of the instructions. Let's throw this away. It's not the first light I am using. The light itself, now here we have it. The Odepro WD41. 18650 battery, nice and, well, nice finish actually. I like the way it's made and I like just the size of it, just the way it's designed. I like it more as a technical backup light because you put a small ball snap on it, you hang it on your actual equipment and you have it as a backup for bat, or even as a primary light for a recreational diver. It's more than enough light for a normal day dive or even for a night dive. I've done a night dive with this, nice 60-minute night dive, and the light performed very well. During the night I'm actually happy not to have such a strong light with me. Okay guys, so opening the light, as you can see here, we have a nice arrangement of 3 O-rings, a nice space in between the thread and the O-rings, so it all looks very nice and very great. And on the other side we have the actual board. Here you can see that the positive contact doesn't come up so far. In this case I wouldn't recommend you for this light using cells or batteries which do not have the button top like the black one. The black one comes up a little bit, as you can see. These are good for this light. The ones which are a bit further in, the original cell without the actual button top, I would not recommend you to use. Also something important, as I have this in the hand, please do not use any unprotected cells, use the protected ones as supplied. Now let's take the battery, put it inside of the torch as usual. The positive goes towards our head, this means towards the LED on these lights. It's even written on the back if you're not sure. Yeah, so that's quite a good thing. Close the light all the way, and once the light is closed all the way, it's gonna turn on. And this is our switch. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. That's it. We only have one mode, we only have this output, and this is the way it's switching. So this is what I like on the light. No playing around, no toys, nothing. On or off, 1000 lumens, and that's a light where you can rely on, because there isn't much which can go wrong. We have a nice spot, as you can see. Beautiful spot. We have a nice spill also for the night dive, helped me a lot. But the spot is nice and spotty, not too much, but also not too big. So this one is very good for a day dive and still diving with a good 2-3 meters, still having a very good lighting in this range. The light itself, although if you open it just a little bit here on the surface, what will happen is that underwater with the pressure, the light may go on. So if I press the light closed, it will go on, as you can see. Yeah, and this is because I didn't screw it open enough. And what I recommend is when you switch it off, don't only switch it off until it's off, just give it about a quarter turn, like this. Well, around a little bit more, like this. You won't get it on anymore. And this will prevent the light going on during the dive. This means if you close it or open it in this case on the surface just a little bit, and then go down with the pressure, it's going to turn on after a certain depth. So there I would recommend you give it about quarter to half turn open, and then it won't switch on anymore. Okay guys, so much about the light itself. We have talked about what comes included in the package, we've talked about the modes and how it actually works, and now we're going to jump into the water and we're going to check out how this light, the Odepro WD41, performs underwater in the actual diving environment. This means where we're actually going to be using it. Okay guys, so I hope you could get a better idea on how the Odepro WD41 performs underwater. Now we're gonna make a quick pros and cons. Pro, of course, definitely, I like the size of the light. It's nice, compact and small, and on top of that I like a lot the design. It's made to be as simple as possible, as reliable as possible, and as powerful as possible for the size. So we have 1000 lumens output, we have a good runtime of around 2.5 hours easily, and we have just a reliable light. No switch, no toys, nothing. There is only one opening on the light, and this is the 3 O-ring protected one. And if you don't turn it like this during all the dive, maybe if you switch it off once or twice during the dive, I don't think it's a problem, but of course you should try not to move it a lot or as much underwater, so try to move it the least possible. Now, something I also like or enjoy a lot on the package is the soft Goodman handle, although for me it's not really something I need, but I think for many of you this is gonna be a very helpful thing. And of course also the 2 battery. Usually you're never gonna get 2 batteries with a diving light, so this is something I really enjoy on this one. You have 2 sets of batteries, and of course also a good charger for them. Now, something I think, it's not really a con, every light is designed to be as good as possible, but something you might think the runtime is maybe not enough for you, then you are right, it's 1.18/650 only, but this is how they keep the size down. We have around 2.5 hours of runtime, and although if you think it's not enough for you, there is an option on getting a bit bigger one, the WD40. It's almost the same thing in the front, the same output, but this one can take 2 18/650 or even 2 26/650s, and then you can have run times of up to 8 hours. Yeah? So this then really also the calculations go up with 2 26/650s with a nice 5,500 milliamp hours cell. 2 of those, you're definitely gonna get good 7-8 hours. So if you need a runtime, go for the bigger one, but if you want a small size, still powerful one, definitely the WD41. So guys, as usual, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you next time on my channel, where we also gonna take a look at the WD40. And until then, I wish you always a good, safe diving, and see you next time.